Hi, I'm Srini from Amagi. Here to talk about, are you able to hear me at all? A little louder? Is it good? Okay. Hi, I'm Srini from Amagi. Here to talk about personalized OTT feeds, how television will look like, hopefully a few months from now, not even a few years. So just a little bit background about Amagi before I get started. We are pioneering cloud-based television broadcasting and delivery. US headquarters in New York with offices in London, Hong Kong, and Bangalore. We provide a couple of services. One, cloud-based television playout and cloud-based managed services where you can do an end-to-end as a television network or content owner. You can create linear or non-linear channels on the cloud and deliver them either for traditional broadcast for satellite or cable, or purely for digital consumption for OTT. And it's a complete end-to-end service stack, everything from content prep all the way till delivery, including 24/7 monitoring, and a lot of it using automation and deep learning technologies. We'll talk about some of that. Backed by large private equity funds, including KKR, and some of the large multi-billion-dollar funds. Work with customers in multiple countries. Some of the customers including Discovery Sports, Turner, IMG, AMC, Scripps, and so on and so forth. Again, different feeds pretty much across the globe in every continent, working with television networks, content owners, and platforms across these. These television networks are typically either sports channels, entertainment channels, or niche channels. That's predominantly where our focus has been. Multiple awards across multiple industry events, among the fastest growing companies in APAC, and featured by different guys. Okay, so where are we going as television? Obviously, we all know this. This is a well-known fact. Television is changing. Earlier we all used to have this big, large television. Now we consume content in different ways. I've seen surveys that talk about 70% of us watch different devices while we actually consume television. And today, a lot of our television is on large screen TV with a companion device. And that's shifting slowly and steadily to large screen TV delivered over internet rather than over traditional cable and satellite. Right, so there you go, right? 77% of the times even when you're watching television, we are actually using a companion device to actually either consume some other content or related content along with that. So what's the big change due to content delivery on the internet, right? We have talked about, a lot of us know about ad personalization, where ads get individually streamed based on who we are in television content, linear and non-linear. But I think the big thing that is today missed out and that's going to come in the near future is personalization of content. And when I'm talking about personalization, I'm talking about personalization of linear television content. So when we are consuming snacking on linear channels on our large screen home TV, can we have these channels created for us rather than these traditional 200, 300 channels that we are actually that we are watching, right? So what does that mean? How would we actually deliver if we had to personalize television, linear television content for TV, right? So if you look at traditional TV architecture, it's been about having large physical infrastructure, big iron, large data centers, fiber, satellite capacity all over the world, and delivering it to traditional affiliates, and then coming onto cable and satellite, right? So the new model naturally is everything moving to the cloud. All my content sits on the cloud. All my processing workflows sit on the cloud, and all my interactions with my vendors happen through the cloud, and final delivery happens through the cloud. So cloud becomes my virtual infrastructure on which my entire company channel network runs, right? So that means that potentially, when I deliver my linear or non-linear content, that could be completely personalized, not localized, but could be personalized for every single individual. Think of a case. Today, when we're actually watching television, I might be watching news, but I might be wanting to follow my favorite football match. I might want to follow my favorite player in the NBA playoffs, right? Can I actually, while I'm watching news, can I actually get sports stickers? Can I get sports updates? Or when I'm watching maybe movies, Can I get my news ticker, my business talk ticker running? Right? There is no reason today in this whole OTT world that the channels are all so separated out in silos, right? I'm watching news, I'm watching business, I'm watching sports, I'm watching entertainment. Can I actually create my screen the way I want? I come in and say, oh, here is my, my movie corner that I'm watching. Here in this corner, I want to see the, the sports match that is actually running, and I want it to pop up when there is a big event, maybe when a goal is scored, right? Or maybe I want to, follow this company from a sports, from a news ticker perspective, and something big happens, I want it to pop out and alarm me about it, right? So there is no reason for us to think of television the way that we have been watching. Linear, one content at a time. I should be able to fix how the screen is going to look like, whether in terms of, real estate, physically how it is laid out, what sort of content comes in there. Can I mix and match content? Should I actually be subscribing to specific linear TV channels? Can I actually mix and match shows? Can I actually, when I'm watching a movie channel, I'm actually interested in action? Can I just only get action movies instead of comedy flicks, right? So is there a way that I as consumer take the power? Today the power is with the broadcaster, the curator, the platform, the television network. Can I as consumer take the power of creating my own linear TV channels when I'm watching this television in traditional television, right? It's great if I'm actually doing Netflix or a Hulu on a mobile device or a desktop or a tablet, right? Where there's a lean forward experience where I'm discovering, I'm searching, I'm finding something specific. When I want to have a lean back experience on my large screen TV, when all I have is a TV remote, I don't want to be searching for content all the time. I don't want to be discovering content. I want content to be delivered like in a linear fashion to me, but personalized to me, right? So can we have a lean back experience which is personalized, which is still linear, like a traditional TV channel, but based on what I want, based on my viewing habits, maybe based on time of the day, maybe based on my social network, maybe based on what I like, what I've mentioned as my preferences. Can I get that customized, right? So if you could actually create a broadcast cloud that, as a television network, can create this flexibility for the consumer to be able to put together their own channels the way they want it. Linear channels, I'm not talking about non-linear here, right? Simple, plain linear channels that we are always used to. If I can put together channels the way I want it, can cloud enable that? That's what we're trying to do as Amagi, fundamentally, right? Where we're actually migrating the entire workflow all the way from content prep till the final delivery onto the cloud. So what are the pillars of personalization, if you can call it that way, right? What would constitute this whole personalized TV experience? What should I, as a TV network, as a platform, as a content owner, to be able to do to be able to deliver this individual personal experience? One, obviously I need to have a scalable cloud infrastructure that allows me to dynamically stitch together content, dynamically create and build together the content that the consumer needs at the time that the consumer needs, and being able to scale up and scale down based on demand, rather than having predetermined physical infrastructure that I have to know in advance, who's going to watch what. So I have this millions of hours or thousands of hours of library content. Can I leverage this to actually create dynamic linear channels? Two, can I actually build insights from what consumer is watching to provide her a better experience? This insights could be, is consumer watching a lot more of specific genre of content? Or can I actually use context in terms of EPG and metadata that is available to understand her favorite movie stars, favorite shows, favorite sort of genres? Can I actually look at her social media to look at what her friends are watching, what her friends are recommending, assuming that obviously with permissions, right, from the consumer? Can I actually get meaningful insights from all of these to stitch together the right content at the right time? Can I even actually change the content based on the time of the day? Based on, morning I want to consume news, evening I want entertainment, right? During the day I want to follow business, right? It could be, based on my viewing preferences, how I've actually done in the past, based on what I actually set up, can I actually change? I'm watching exactly the same linear channel that I'm doing, but what I'm watching changes based on who I am, what I do during the day. 3, take all of these insights, take the infrastructure that you have, and actually put that together real time. At the time when the consumer wants it, in the way that she wants it, in the format that she wants it. So these are what I would call the 3 pillars of personalization. So, first, scalable cloud infrastructure. I think cloud has been sufficiently been talked about. All of us know how it provides scalability, how it provides on-demand infrastructure, how it converts CapEx into OpEx, allows us to do flexible, agile business plans, right? I think what is typically untold about cloud is also the fact that as I go international, as I actually go beyond my domestic audience to newer audiences out there, it allows me to collaborate a lot better with my vendors, right? So whether in terms of creating new subtitles, new voiceovers in every country that I'm going, I might have to localize my content for each one of those regions. Now today I have to go physically find each one of these vendors, have a contract individually with them, and stitch together offline flows for the whole subtitling, voiceover sort of stuff. Can I actually create a Uber-like experience if I'm a TV network or a content owner where I actually find the vendor that is going to do the subtitling or this voiceover on demand at a per asset level rather than on a monthly contract level, and be able to outsource the subtitling voiceover on a per asset level to multiple vendors in a given region or different vendors in different regions. So can we actually create, using cloud collaboration workflows, where I can automatically allow vendors to bid for a specific asset, identify the best vendor for that, allow do automated QC, again, using phenomenal amount of technologies that are available on the cloud, whether in terms of deep learning, whether being able to automatically identify, use voice recognition, for example, do a translation, do a keyword extraction, match it with subtitles to validate whether the subtitle vendor that I got was actually good, is the content right, is the subtitle right, and so on, right? So cloud provides you this capability to collaborate in a way whereby you can also ensure the quality of the asset that you're actually getting from these third-party vendors. So allow dynamic bidding, allow dynamic collaboration, and be able to manage all of this. Doesn't matter which country that I'm actually delivering this to, be able to manage it out of my desktop, out of my laptop, anywhere across the world. So manage my entire content asset workflow on the cloud, extract relevant information automatically from the asset, right? Whether it's actually extracting metadata about what sort of movie, what sort of actors there are there, based on facial recognition, maybe identify the key players in a soccer match, again based on facial recognition, identify the key highlights. All of these today can be automated on the cloud using deep learning. And those are some of the technologies that we have built whereby you can come and provide an asset on the cloud, and it'll automatically, based on facial recognition, based on voice recognition, will actually validate your subtitles, create metadata, tagging specific points that are of interest for people, tagging actors, key players in that episode, in that match, being able to automatically create segments where potentially you could insert ad breaks in that. All of that could be today done on the cloud and are available as technology pieces. 2, once I have all of this content available, now once I deliver it to the consumer, can I create actionable insights? Can I actually identify what would be of interest for the consumer, not now, but in the future as well? Again, based on what sort of viewing behavior that I see. What sort of places do I see the consumer pausing and actually watching again? What sort of repeat content that the consumer is watching? What sort of contextual information I have about the content and about the consumer that I can actually match to actually do some pattern recognition? Can I do some filtering based on time axis? Or do I see that this consumer does a lot of snacking content, maybe live news on mobile, but in large screen TV it's predominantly sports and entertainment? Right? So then next time when the consumer is coming onto a mobile device, I know what sort of content would be of interest that I can actually pop up. Right? So there could be patterns here, filtering here, based on the type of the device, based on time of the day, I can see that, oh, this consumer watches a lot more of entertainment content after 9 p.m., or a lot more news before that. So I know what sort of content to present for that consumer. So based on time, based on device, based on the consumer social network, based on the viewing behavior, one can get a lot of information. All of this subject to privacy, right? So obviously I want to ensure that the data that is actually coming in is still anonymized, is still stored locally and not sent across to a central database across the continent or across the country. So ensure that there are enough security controls around it, anonymize it, ensure that the viewer preferences are still private, and leverage it to provide the right insights for me to create those dynamic linear channels. So once I have the content on the cloud, I have relevant contextual data about the asset, about the key information about the asset, and key information about the consumer. And if I'm able to match these two, then I have the power as a TV network or content owner to be able to stitch together the right asset in the right format for the consumer. As I said, this may not be just stitching together a bunch of linear assets. This could be stitching together linear and non-linear assets, where I'm getting stock tickers on my movie channel, where I'm getting sports tickers on my news channel, where I'm getting a mix of my NBA playoffs showing us a picture-in-picture on my main regular channel when I'm watching it, and automatically and dynamically switching off based on key events, from a full-screen playoff to a full-screen entertainment, right? So I can create an entire end-user experience that is dynamic, that is personalized, that is contextual. So if you have to put all of these pieces together, right, we have few building blocks here. One, like as we talked about, a scalable cloud infrastructure that can scale up or scale down based on number of consumers that are actually watching, number of viewers that are watching, amount of content that I have. Two, leverage the compute on the cloud to do automatic and deep learning based metadata extraction, contextual information extraction to create relevant information. And three, get the right viewer analytics, behavioral analytics from the end consumer data. Now I take all of these, I take the personalized, the HLS stream that I actually my original linear channel that I actually got, take all of this information at the time before the final HLS stream is being created for that end user. I change the M3 U8, I change the playlist so that it automatically switches, not just from an ad insertion, but from a content insertion platform, switches to the right content for that particular user, and then switches back real time when that content gets over to the mainstream. So I can actually, in real time, both for content and for ads, switch from one content to another at every individual user level. And this is a platform that we have built, what we call as the whole Thunderstorm platform, where you can change content and you can change ads, all of this based on individual user behavior. Obviously, you'll work in terms of advertising, of course, you'll do programmatic, work with multiple real-time ad networks for you to bid and get the best possible ads in real time for that particular user and stitch that together as well. So that's, I thought, as the basis on which the future of television is going to be built. The future of television, large screen television, when you're watching linear, is no longer going to be the traditional 100 set of 100 or 200 channels that we have, but personally stitched together linear channels, which could be thousands that we are actually watching, based on exactly the same content, but customized for us, right? So this is how we are seeing questions.